Thanks for joining us, Atif.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Kashif.
Thank you very much.
I've been supporting Liverpool for almost 30 years now. It's just the club that's always been in my heart. My first memory supporting Liverpool was actually, funnily enough, was a Liverpool defeat against Arsenal in 1989 when Arsenal won the title at Anfield. But ever since, it's not like I've had any family that's kind of passed it down, but it's just always been the only club for me.
I'm supporting the team that my dad was supporting. He used to live in Manchester, so he started supporting Man United from a young age. Over time, I've started supporting them, so it's been about, I'm 30 years old, so been most of my lifetime.
So, Atif, can you explain to us why there is so much competition between Manchester United and Liverpool?
Okay. Well, it's without doubt the two biggest clubs in England. From my point of view, Liverpool first, then Man United, obviously. But I suppose it's, in a geographical point of view, obviously they're nearby, Liverpool and Manchester. The other main rivalry is always been because one team has always been on top. Throughout the 70s, 80s, it was Liverpool, and then we've had the Fergie years in the 2000s, which I've taken a lot of stick for over the years.
So, Kashif, if you can please explain to us in your words, why do you feel there is so much competition between these two teams?
Same as Atif, like he said, the two biggest teams in England, and obviously Man United is bigger than Liverpool, and that's proven.
So you agree with me that Liverpool are the best team in England, basically?
Sorry, no speaking whilst I'm having my talk.
You said same as Atif, so I said that Liverpool are first and then Man United.
No, can we start again? He spoke through my thing.
Unfortunately,
I'm just agreeing with what you...
You're already starting.
I'm just saying your words. You said I agree with what Atif said. Inzi?
Look, Liverpool fan talking over people again. Shut your mouth, young man. So in Atif's case, Liverpool are the biggest team. In my case, Man United. But everyone knows Man United is the biggest team. Obviously, we got more fans, haven't we, around the world as well. Which Liverpool are still trying to conquer the Asian market, which Man United has done pretty well.
So instead of counting trophies, we started counting fans now. Is that what we've come down to?
Well, you said bigger club, so Man United's bigger club because they've got more fans and
bigger club. Obviously,
known around the world.
It depends how you count, how you dignify a big club. Is it trophies? It used to be trophies. Like I said, I've been having this debate for about 30 years now. And back in the day, it's always been trophies. Yeah. But now it seems that you've started counting the fans.
I think Liverpool, really hasn't had many trophies in the last 30 years. Probably about 5. Whereas Man United has had about 60.
two European Cups. In the last 30 years, are we talking?
In the last 30 years, I'm sure you only had about 5 trophies.
Come on. I think you need to do a bit more research, mate.
Nah. Well, I know you've had 2 Champions Leagues in the last 30 years. That's it.
No, you're still wrong there.
All right, 3. Top 3. You're not getting any more than 3. Since the 90s, actually. Since the 90s, you've had like 2 Champions Leagues.
In that period, we won the Champions League twice.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so if we're talking about trophies, we could talk about, obviously, what you got to remember is football didn't start 30 years ago.
Yeah.
There was football before the Premier League.
Yeah, there was.
So the point I keep getting aimed at is, Liverpool have never won the Premier League. But what you got to remember is football did not start with the Premier League. There was football before the Premier League.
Yeah, but they still have won the Premier League.
Yeah,
they might have won the division.
Yeah, but before the Premier League...
when the Premier League came in
there was the first division.
They come against a stumbling block. Poof.
Before the Premier League, there was the first division. All that was rebranded as the Premier League. So, in effect, it is still the top division.
So, what you're trying to say, Liverpool went on strike and said we're not going to win it because you rebranded it?
Well, Liverpool have won the league. Liverpool have won the league 18 times.
Yeah, Man United have won the league and Premier League 20 times.
Well, they won the Premier League 20 times. They won the league.
Well, we won the Premier League 13 times.
Yes.
13 more than Liverpool.
Okay. I can't argue with that.
Oh, you can't. There's nothing to argue about.
But
we've dominated football for the last 25, 30 years.
But then who's dominated in the period before that?
In the period before that, Liverpool, maybe a few other teams. Even Man United was there as well that time. They weren't winning as many trophies, but
Well,
they
Liverpool,
were winning.
Yeah, but the point is Liverpool have still been winning in this period that we're talking about now. Liverpool have been winning trophies. It's that we've not managed.
You
to
haven't been winning
it's just
as
that-
many
It's just that
trophies.
we've not managed to win the Premier League. Which
Yeah.
obviously we can't.
Which is the
we-
goal,
we
obviously,
can't-
in
we-
England.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, you can't run around saying we're winning the Champions League once every 15 years and with the kings of Europe and whatnot, and you're not winning nothing domestically. You need to be kings of England first.
No, well, you can't argue with that. But the point is, obviously, we have been winning trophies as well as obviously in that period, in that time scale. But obviously, it has been a downward spell for Liverpool. There's no doubt about that. But if you look at the 80s, when Liverpool were dominating, obviously from 85 onwards, I mean, Liverpool up to now we've got 6 European Cups. But what you also got to remember, there was a 5-year ban when Liverpool were at the peak. There's a 5-year European ban.
Yeah.
When Liverpool, I mean,
That wouldn't have affected you that much anyway. You only win the European champion. I mean, you only win the Europa League, League.
this
What's
is
it called?
this is-
Champions League every 15 years.
Yeah, but this is in your lifetime we're talking
Yeah.
about. But what I'm talking about in the 80s, when obviously
Yeah.
Liverpool were at the peak. Now that opportunity was taken away from Liverpool because that 5 years was when Liverpool were at the peak.
I know you won it.
We were
I
winning
think
the league
twice in
year
the
after
70s.
year after year.
You won it twice in the 70s, once in the 80s, twice in the 80s. I
Twice
think
in the
so.
80s, yeah.
And then you won. Then you didn't win nothing for about 20, 30 years
Well, no,
until 2005.
I wouldn't say nothing, but obviously if you only
Well, you didn't win much.
If you're only counting league titles, then
You didn't
obviously-
win much, and then
Well,
2005 you won the Champions League again, and then you just won it
But
recently.
if we're looking at trophies overall,
If you look at Man United now,
Then-
we're not playing as good as we used to. But in the last 2-3 years, we've still won the Europa League. We've won the FA Cup.
it's funny that because the Europa League.
Community Shield.
Come on
and
now,
stuff
don't-
like
don't
that.
go there now, come
no,
on.
but we're still winning something. We're bringing something back. You guys used to be empty-handed for every season.
Every time I have this conversation with Man United fans, the Community Shield is a Mickey Mouse Cup. It doesn't count.
Well, Klopp did say
But
that
now
they should start counting it as a trophy. So
it's funny how now you start counting it.
listen, your manager wants it counted. So
Well-
does Pep Guardiola.
Well, if you look at the Champions Wall,
Only reason
at
you
Anfield-
don't want it counted is
One
because
second.
we've got more than you.
One second.
Forget 2 seconds. You can have 3 seconds.
If you look at a Champions Wall at Anfield, if you go to
Yeah.
Anfield, in the tunnel, there's a Champions Wall with all Liverpool's trophies on there. Okay, Liverpool have won the Community Shield. It's not that we haven't won it, but it's not mentioned on there. Why is it not mentioned on there?
Because Man United's got more.
It's irrelevant.
No. It
It's
used
not-
to be mentioned. Liverpool used to mention
Ma-
it
Man United-
until Man United overtook you.
Man United have more league titles than Liverpool, yes, but that's still mentioned on there. So the point you made there is because United have won more is obviously
Because you're not counting the
Without substance.
what's it called, Community Shield as much of a trophy anymore. But
yeah, but
Klopp-
the clue is in the name, Charity Shield. It's a charity game basically.
it's not really a charity game.
It is. If you
What?
if you look at this year's Charity Shield at Wembley,
Yeah.
once a 90-minute finishes, you go straight to penalties. Now, normally, if that was like, look at the Super Cup, for example.
It's like
the Super
Intercontinental Cup that you've played for. It's like the other cup that you played against with Tottenham or something.
The Champions League,
No, you played another one, didn't you? Or you're gonna play it in December?
the Club World Cup.
That one-off game, yeah. So
That's not one of game.
so
It's not one of game.
It is.
Because
It is.
in order to qualify for that, you have to obviously be the champion of Europe.
Same with the
And then-
community.
and
Same
then-
with the Community Shield. Not everyone can play the Community Shield. Come on. So why are Bradford City and Leeds not playing the Community Shield?
Yeah, but the point is that it's a.
The point is-
let me explain to you. It's a curtain raiser.
There's a criteria to get there.
Yeah, but
same as your Super Cup that you're gonna go play for.
Well, the Super Cup we've already played and won, by the way. But the Community Shield is basically a charity game. It's a curtain raiser to the season. It's traditionally
Well,
been
you
there.
call it Charity
It's
Shield.
not-
Some people call it
because,
Community Shield.
Because the Community Shield basically traditionally has been the winners of the FA Cup and the
Right.
winners of the league.
Yeah.
Okay. In this case, obviously, because City did the treble last season.
Domestic, yeah.
Yeah. So Liverpool finished second. So Liverpool obviously played Manchester City
Yeah.
in the Community Shield.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so no other team could play him, could they?
yeah. But the point I'm
They
trying.
didn't say, oh, you know what, let's go get Bournemouth and tell them to play.
The point I'm trying to make to you is obviously it's like you're allowed 6 substitutions. So in effect, they're counting it as a charity game, which it's like a friendly game. It's a glorified friendly basically.
Yeah, for you it is.
Well, for everybody.
Not for everybody.
If well,
Listen, Guardiola wants it counted as a proper trophy and everything, and he's
yeah,
you know.
well, he's gonna say that when he's won it, any obviously.
Klopp, by the way, okay, Klopp wanted it counted.
But what I'm trying to say to you is,
Klopp goes if we're playing for it and we're coming to play for it and everything, we want it counted.
Yeah,
But the only people not counting it is Liverpool.
It's basically the Community Shield. To be honest with you, it's basically one of them. If you win it, it counts. If you lose, nobody's bothered.
Yeah, so Liverpool don't win it, they don't count it.
Well, it's not only Liverpool. If United were playing in it,
the only people who have got problem with it are Liverpool.
Okay, how many times have United been in the Community Shield final then, or the Community Shield?
Oh, plenty, because we've got about 20 some of them.
No, go on numbers.
What? We've got plenty of them.
How many have they won?
I know they won 23 or something like that.
How many have they lost?
What?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly, because they don't count there. Because obviously once you lose, but the point is, it's basically a glorified.
I'm on about counting it. You Liverpool fans don't even count it.
We don't count it as a major honour because it's not.
Okay. Then.
It's not. Now look at Manchester City last season. Okay.
Well, that debate's not going to end. Then,
hold on.
You don't count it. We count it.
One second. You're going about Guardiola. Manchester City won the treble last season. They didn't win the quadruple.
Well, he's saying he's won the quadruple.
Well, where is it mentioned they won the quadruple? Last season they won the league.
If Guardiola mentioned it,
they won the League Cup.
Guardiola
they won the FA
it.
Cup. Where's everywhere you see Manchester City did the treble. They didn't do the quadruple.
Well, he did mention that they have done.
They attempted the quadruple, which was including the Champions League.
Well, he's counted this one in.
Which obviously somebody else won. I don't know, a team that was red. I'll give you
a team that wins it once every 15, 20 years.
A bit of a clue, yeah.
A team that wins it every 15 years, and then their football fans live off that until the next time they win it. So they've moved on from Istanbul, and now they're going to remember.
Okay, so when was the last time United won the Champions League?
2008.
Okay, when was the last?
It was 3 years after your Istanbul.
Okay, and when was the last time Liverpool won the Champions League?
This season gone.
Exactly. So
yeah. So what? Every 15
years.
So
what? What do you mean? So what?
Every 15 years.
Who's to say what's gonna happen this year? Who's to say what's gonna happen next year?
You're not winning it this year. You got 15 years now.
You got to be in it to win it, my brother.
No.
Are United in it?
That's why you didn't win it for 15 years, because you weren't in it.
Are United
you weren't in it for 15 years, so you didn't win it.
Okay,
good lad.
Okay.
This is stuff you should know, lad.
So who's got more chance of winning? Who's got more chance of winning it this season? Liverpool or Man United?
Liverpool haven't. They're not going to win.
So United got more chance of winning the Champions League this season than Liverpool?
We're in Europa League, so we'll probably win that.
So exactly. So basically,
something that you to do.
The only team between Liverpool and Man United that could win the Champions League this season is Liverpool.
Yeah, it's a shame you can win the Champions League.
Come on,
when it comes to Europa League, you can't win that. Especially against a team like Sevilla.
I thought you only talk facts.
Yeah, I'm talking facts.
Who's the only team this season that is able to win the Champions League? Between Liverpool
you
and
can't
Man
say only team, Dick.
Between Liverpool and Man United?
Huh?
Between Liverpool and Man United. Are Man United able to win the Champions League?
Who's got a chance to win it? Obviously Liverpool, because they're in it.
Exactly. So the point is you got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, so we've been in it. We've been in it so many times.
Being in it. This is the one point.
Listen.
1 point. No.
Were we in it last season?
Hold on.
Were we in it last season? Do you remember when we beat PSG? Do you remember that?
With a penalty that was nowhere near a penalty.
Listen,
that was a handball. That was in the. That was never a handball.
Okay, 1 minute. Back to your question.
Okay.
Back to your question.
Okay.
You have to be in it to win it. We were in it just last season.
We didn't win it.
But so what? You were saying you need to be in it. We were in it.
Yeah, we need to be in it to win it.
But we were in it. Were we in it? Yes or no?
Did you win it?
Yes or no? Were we in it? No. Answer my question. Were we in it?
Yeah, but did you win it?
Yes or no?
You were in it.
Yes or no?
Did you?
Simple answer. Yes or no?
Did you win it?
Were we in the Champions League last season?
Yes, but did you win it? Yeah,
that's all I want.
Okay. You answer my question now.
Go on.
Did you win it last season?
We didn't win it.
Exactly.
But were we there?
What do you get for
at this
there?
moment in time?
Okay.
Listen.
So now I think the honours are going to change. So instead of winning the Champions League, you're going to get a medal or you're going to get a trophy for being in it. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, but the question you asked was you need to be in it. We do be in it. You said to me, when was the last time money... Listen.
Let me make one point.
No, how can you make a point? Let me make a point. You said, when was the last time Man United were in it? Man United, the last time they were in it was last season.
I asked that.
No, you did.
I asked when was the last time Man United won it?
No, you said in it.
I didn't say in it.
You said in it.
I said when was the
last time? Well, I heard in it.
Well,
we were in it last season. We didn't get it into this season because we came sixth.
Whoever's watching this podcast can rewind it and
I don't think they're going to rewind it to listen to a Liverpool fan.
And double check what I said.
Liverpool fans too much of this. They don't listen. Look, even now he's not listening.
If I can get a word in now.
Oh, yeah. You're getting all the words in. Get them in. Plenty of time. Go on.
When I get a word in.
Go on, get a word in.
The point I'm trying to make now, when I said it at the start, I've been having this debate for like 30 years now with my United fans.
And you've been losing, yeah.
Well, let's put that to aside, whether I've been winning or losing. But
yeah, that you like to put to the side, don't you?
The point I'm trying to make is Man United fans are always
come on top.
Not only Kashif, every single Man United fan I've spoken to, right at it, you've got to talk about the present, not the past. Don't talk about history. Don't talk about Liverpool's history. But now, what are you going back to now?
Going back to what, last season?
What did they win last season?
All right. So
What did they-
why you
okay,
talking
okay.
about a Champions
What-
League? Listen to me. Why are you talking about a Champions League that you won last season? You're going into the history.
Who is the current champions of
No,
Europe?
you're going into the history.
Who is the
Are you
current-
going into the
current-
history or not?
current-
You spent 15 years talking
It's not
about
history,
Liverpool
it's not history.
winning it in 2005, and now you're on about
My
history.
brother, it's not
Listen,
history. It's not history. It's the
listen,
current.
you guys
Who-
don't know nothing.
Who is the current champions of Europe?
Forget who's current. This gone now.
How is it gone?
The
It's the current.
it started again,
until,
innit?
until somebody else
The
wins
new
it.
competition has started.
is the defending-
new
who are the
competition has
defending-
started.
who-
Why are you going into history, my brother Atif?
But
Why are you going into
Kasia,
history?
my bro, who are the current champions of Europe?
Listen, we were in it last season as well. You were in it last season. You won it end
Yeah, but
of.
you don't-
You're
but
going into history
you
by
don't-
keep talking
you
about
don't-
it.
you don't
You're
get
saying
nothing-
history.
you don't
You're
get-
going into history.
you
I'm
don't
not
get
going
no-
into
you
history
don't get
now.
nothing for being
Come
in
on,
it.
the current.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So who are the current champions of Europe? Come on.
Last
You're
season.
contradicting yourself, my bro.
Last season's champions.
Who are the current?
Last season. Remember, you played it in last season, didn't you? Did you play it before the season ended? It was last season. So you're going into history, not me.
Kashif,
You're going into history. End of.
You're contradicting yourself.
Why am I
and-
contradicting
and-
myself?
And you're making yourself look a bit of a
Go on,
fool here.
go on.
Who are the current champions of
Okay,
Europe?
you're the current champions. End of.
Thank you.
Now move on. Go on.
Exactly.
You got 5 seconds.
The point I was trying to make was, over the years, like I said to you before, I don't want to be repeating ourselves. Obviously, we've not got very
you're
long.
good at that.
We've not got very long on this podcast. The point I was trying to make was, obviously, over the years, with Liverpool's glorious history, every time we have a debate, the Man United fans will come out. Don't talk about history. Let's talk about the present. Let's talk about the here and now. That Liverpool, who are the current champions of Europe, is in the past. It's history. Now you decide for yourself if you think that's history. In my book, we are the current champions of Europe, the defending champions of Europe, and we are in it to inshallah return the trophy. But the point I was making to Kashif is, who has got more chance of winning the Champions League this season, Man United or Liverpool? Which is purely and simply a fact that the only team that can win the Champions League between Liverpool and Man United this season is Liverpool.
When you know that the Man United is not in the Champions League. That's like me saying, who's got more of a chance of winning the Europa League out of Man United and Liverpool? Obviously,
wants to
Man
win the Europa
United.
League? Who wants to
No,
win
look, you're talking over me. Let me talk. Let me talk. Let me talk now. That question I can put to you now is, who's got more chance of winning the Europa League, Man United or Liverpool? Obviously, Man United. So, same question as yours, but you know yourself, Man United are not in the Champions League. Why would you ask that question?
Okay, so you're now
Go on, answer that.
So let me get this right now. Are you comparing the Europa League with the Champions League now?
Forget comparing. Answer my question that I've asked.
What was the question?
Why would you compare Liverpool and Man United winning the
Because-
Champions League when
because-
you know Man United are not in the Champions League? That's
but-
like me saying, listen, let me finish. That's like me saying, who's going to win the Europa League out of Liverpool and Man United?
Yeah, but-
That's a stupid question, isn't it?
The
Is it a stupid question or not?
Let me get a word in now.
Go on.
Well, if you're asking me a question, at least give me a chance to give you an answer.
I'm giving you a chance.
Yeah, but
You just need to remember the question. Don't change the topics. Do not change the topic.
You're butting in again and
Go on.
again.
Don't change the topic.
The point is, obviously, which is the bigger trophy, Champions League or the Europa League?
No, that's not the point.
The Europa League is irrelevant. It's not in this conversation. Where does this conversation start? That we were talking about the Champions League. Yes, you're trying to say to me that Liverpool winning the Champions League last season, the season just gone, is now history. So now you can forget about that because that was like 20 years
Okay,
ago.
1 minute. Are we moving on to the next topic now? Because
Yeah,
obviously, he doesn't-
Kashif's had enough.
obviously he's not getting the whole idea of what I was the question I put towards him. He doesn't know how to answer it. So shall we move on to the Premier League that Man United have won 20 times?
Yeah, we can move on to that, but we only
Yeah.
have 2 minutes remaining. So
That's fine. So
1 minute each.
I'll start off. Yeah. So we're talking about a team, Liverpool, who have not won it in 30 years. They've slipped up, Slippy G, a few times. They're very good at coming second and bottling it. The only league these guys win is every few years, and that's the Christmas Premier League. So after Christmas, they decline and boosh, gone. And then they're back to square one or next year. The only motto they've got is next year, next year, next year. Next year's never come. When was the when was the last time you won the Premier League? Oh, next year. That's the one. I'm done.
Okay, so
Let him talk.
I did not interrupt there for a second, Lindsay. So now I want the same courtesy from my brother Kashif here. So he claims that Man United have won the Premier League 20 times. Okay?
Alright,
Now,
league.
my brother, you are wrong there, first of all, because the Premier League started in 1992. Now, football did not start in 1992, as most Man United fans believe. Up to 1992, Liverpool had 18 league titles. Man United had 7. Yes?
They've still got 18.
Come on. Now,
No, I had to put that in. Come on.
yeah, but
You look-
if you let me finish, the point I'm trying to make is football was not invented in 1992 with the Premier League. Okay, so there was football before the Premier League. Now, when we count league titles, like I said at the start, the league titles, the old First Division was basically rebranded as the Premier League. So basically, Liverpool have won the league 18 times. I don't understand how difficult is that for Man United fans to understand that Liverpool have won the league 18 times. Fair enough, Man United won it 20 times, but okay, I give you that. But then, how many times have Man United won the European Cup? 3. How many times has Liverpool won the European Cup?
I'm sure we moved on from the. I'm sure we moved on from the European Cups.
No.
Come on,
Yeah,
you look. You
we're-
see,
we're talking honest
to
here.
counteract the Premier League.
but-
You're going back to the Champions League.
Yeah, but-
It's stupidity.
How
At
is
its
it
best.
How is it stupidity when Liverpool won the Champions League? Because Liverpool won more Champions League than Man United.
We moved on from the European honours and we're talking about the current titles.
We're talking about overall, because what I'm trying to say to you is you cannot count the Premier League separate to the first.
You're only
division.
talking about overall when you feel like it.
No.
I said let's talk about the the Premier League, blah blah blah, and you've gone from Premier League, jumped back to Champions League. I don't know why. I think we had about 15 minutes of talking about Champions League. This is the problem with Liverpool fans. They will only talk about Champions League because that's the only thing that they win every 15 years.
Well, you're obviously not listening to what
You
I'm
know.
saying to you. If you think I'm only talking about, I've said to you at the start that United have won the Premier League 13 times. Well done to them. Credit where credit is due. I'm not a Liverpool fan that does not give credit. Okay, that is the first thing. Now, obviously, they've done well in the Fergie years. Now, let's see what happens post Fergie years. How long has it been? 6 years so far and counting. So let's see. Hopefully, inshallah, if we're around long enough,
Next year for you guys.
In 30 years' time, we will be sat here with Grandad Inzi, and we will have the same conversation. And by that time, Liverpool will have, inshallah, a lot more
It's
Premier
not in
League.
your blood.
Inshallah, a lot more Premier League trophies, and then we can have the same debate.
It's not in the
And
Liverpool blood to win anything.
We can have the same debate. And
It's not in the Liverpool blood to win the Premier League.
And by the way, if I'm not around, Mobeen sat here as well. He'll take over.
I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you because if he's not gonna see him in the Premier League either.
Okay, guys, with that being said, that was a fantastic topic. And with that being said, it's now time to close the topic. Please have your say and let us know what you think in the live chat box.